I'm Pam McGee. I am an alumni of Mondovi High School, the year 1982. I remember that day walking out those doors and just looking for, life to start. Little did I know where life would take me at that time. And so I want to thank the administrators and the Hall of Fame committee and the staff and the teachers for selecting me for this. I never dreamed in 100 years that I would be nominated for this. And when your superintendent asked me to do a little short minute video that would, kind of talk to you guys, I was scared to death. I haven't talked to high school students other than my 17-year-old daughter and my 21-year-old son for 35 years. I'm like, what would I possibly have to say to them? Well, I'm going to try. I hope it's impactful, and I wish you, first I'd like to wish you a congratulations on what you've achieved. Not everybody graduates from high school, so you're on a good road. So number one of the things that I've learned throughout my life is that it's not necessarily what you do, it's how you make people feel. And so the close friends and family that you keep next to you who have your best interest in mind as they do theirs, those are life-giving. I have, 3 high school, or excuse me, they were actually grade school, but high school friends that, we probably talk once a month. We see each other a couple of times a year, and I'm forever grateful for Kathy Stye, Heidi Sather, and Kim McGee. And I'm sure, now that Facebook has, become our platform of connection, for all my Facebook high school friends, I like seeing their grandchildren. I like seeing what's up with them. I like knowing when their parents die. Well, I don't like knowing that, but I like to be in the know about that. So from Mondovi, take a network with you. They'll be with you a lifetime, and they will be some of your best friends ever. No, so the point of that is life is a lot more fun with family and friends that have your best interests in mind as theirs. Secondly, show up. Just show up and be the change you want the world to see. I was working at a small software company, and they said there was some type of training meeting in this building. And so I thought, well, I've been a college teacher. Maybe I could do some training. So I walked into that room, and that forever changed my life. I met a woman named Bonnie Robertson, and she was head of the HR team, which is about benefits and training and all that. And while I was sitting there, she was talking about all this training she needed done. And I looked at her and I said, well, can I, audition or, to try out for the team? And she said, well, it's going to require a lot of travel. And my eyes lit up, and I'm like, and she could see how excited I was. Little did I know that showing up at that meeting that I knew nothing about would take me to 22 countries across the globe. So second lesson is just show up. You never know what you'll bump into. The third lesson is sometimes you're going to feel like you're insane. You're going to have tried everything and get the same results. For those of us who know what insanity is, it's trying the same thing over and over and getting the same results. So what do you do when you're stuck? So you feel like, I've tried this, and nothing's working. Well, I had one theory when I was stuck. I'd go back and learn something new. I would go back and, part of when I was stuck at that software company I was talking about, it was acquired by Microsoft. And I'm more of not a Microsoft type person, but I went with it and I worked with them. And when I was stuck, I said, what kind of training can you give me at Microsoft? Because I knew they had fantastic training. So, instead of focusing on what I didn't have and what I didn't like, they sent me to Harvard and I got a leadership certificate, and then they brought in Northwestern, and I got an executive MBA. So I have learned that, I don't know if this will work for everybody, but when I'm stuck, I try to learn something new or do something different. So maybe that'll help you, maybe that won't. And then lastly, no matter where, not lastly, next, no matter where you go, take your values with you. Because if you are in violation of your values, you're in the wrong spot. One of the things that was said early on, and I wish I could attribute a friend or a boss that said this. They said, if you wouldn't want what you're doing right now or the decision you're making to show up in your hometown paper where your grandma and your family can see it, that's a good indication that you should probably walk away from this. So, I've really lived by that a lot in my life. Yes, I've made some mistakes, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, I've stayed out of the headline of the news. So, and then next, honor your own voice. Sometimes it's going to be very easy for parents, other influencers like aunts, uncles, brothers, special friends to say, you shouldn't take that job in California, or you should stay in Mondovi because, your aunt needs you. And maybe you do need to stay in Mondovi because your aunt needs you. But make sure you're honoring your own voice because it's your life. And, somebody with stage 4 cancer who's in a very delicate situation, you only have one life to live. Make sure you're living each day like almost as if it's your last. And then next, I want to tell you that this is something my son said. Always be proud of where you come from. My son has this saying that, I've traveled with all these fancy people. I met the vice president of Manila. And he said, but you know what? In all of those exchanges, you can take the McGee out of Mondovi, but you can't take the Mondovi out of the McGee. So wherever you're headed, whatever's next, I just want to tell you, good luck and be true to yourself. Thank you.